highest total of the season. It is once again the Stafford Goff Bowl. These guys always intertwined now after the trade a couple years ago. It led to a Matthew Stafford and Rams Super Bowl. The Lions had been the cream of the crop in the NFC. Now with Sean McVay and the Rams, right now the number one seed in the NFC as we enter this game on Sunday. And the Rams are pretty decently sized favorite. They're -6, laying nearly a touchdown here at SoFi Stadium with a total of 55. The Lions have claimed victory each these last two times that these teams have played. Remember, a last-second field goal knocked the Rams out of the playoffs in 2024, and then they met on opening night last year, and it was David Montgomery with the touchdown in overtime to give the Lions a 26-20 win. Now it's the Rams' time to get revenge. Can they do it? Do we get all the points that we think we're going to get here? And more importantly, can the Lions stay right there in the mix with the Chicago Bears, your Chicago Bears? Bear down, Chicago Bears. Can they stay right? There we go. I knew Brandon was itching to play it.
Yeah, even the new one.
So Rams looking to stay atop the NFC as the number one seed and get that home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Lions looking to make their push towards the playoff and set up what I have been saying is going to be that Week 18 win and in between the Lions and the Bears. They both got to get there. Detroit's got to take care of business here down the stretch, but can they pull off the upset win on Sunday? But I think most importantly, as football fans, we are looking for offense, points, touchdowns, offense, points, and touchdowns. This could be a slobber knocker, as JR used to say.
Yeah, no question about it. And it could be downright erotic for the fantasy football managers that are out there. If you need points out of Puka Nakua, you need points out of Amon-Ra St. Brown, you need points out of Jameson Williams, you need points from Jahmyr Gibbs, you need points from Kyron Williams, Devontae Adams. The list goes on and on and on. You're going to get points. And by the way, we have a new theme song as well for any LA Rams mention. So, Brando, go ahead and cue that up.
I learned long ago to ram it just right. You can ram it all day and ram it all night.
Oh, shout out to Primus with a little throwback there. Yeah. Beavis. Oh, man. Good stuff there. A little Beavis and Butthead, a little Primus and Ram It. And it's totally appropriate because the game is downright sexy, to say the least. So much so that I think both quarterbacks are going to be slinging it all over the yard there at SoFi Stadium. So I bet a same-game parlay. Jared Goff, 250-plus pass yards. Revenge game! Also, Matthew Stafford, 250-plus pass yards. Double revenge game! I think both these guys are going nuts. They're going to be efficient. They're going to be prolific through the air. Plus 138 if you build that simple little two-legger for both the quarterbacks go for 250-plus pass yards there at BetMGM. Honestly, I think the only thing that deters this from not happening is a menacing and daunting injury imp who's always lurking. So hopefully these guys can be able to stay upright in this game. Look, you got weapons galore on both sides of the ball. The Lions secondary is in shambles. Terry Arnold on injured reserve. We got news today that the former ILL stand-down Kirby Joseph going to miss another game again. So that secondary is very, very susceptible. Now, the Rams have been incredibly stout defensively, especially on the back end. They're number 2 in drop-back EPA defense this season. But I think the points are going to be racking up like crazy. It's going to be like a slot machine hitting jackpot. The siren, woo, 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 is going to be going off. The bright lights are going to be flashing all over the place. I am here for it. This is bar none going to be my favorite must-see TV game of the entire Week 15 slate. It's got first to maybe 35, first to 40 vibes written all over it. And by the way, you can bet on it to be the highest scoring game of the week. It's plus 200. Take my money, BetMGM. Take it. Lions and Rams are going to deliver all the goods.
I learned long ago.
Yeah, look.
Right. You can ram it all day and ram it all night.
Ram it.
That might be the number one song on the show, the most played song on this show here moving forward, especially if the Rams stay in contention all the way throughout January and maybe playing for a Super Bowl. Yeah, look, you get Dan Campbell and the Lions here of an underdog of more than 4 points. In that spot, they are 17-3 against the spread. Now, I know the Rams are a different beast, but obviously if the Lions are an underdog of that big, they're usually playing a good team and they're on the road. Well, we know that the Rams don't necessarily enjoy home field advantage. So I think you can take that out of the mix, right? I think that the Lions fans, they're about as well traveled as anybody else in the country. I don't think this is a spot where Jared Goff is covering up the ear holes here, having to hear the play, maybe having to go silent count. So I think, again, what is the classic rule? 3 points for home field advantage. I think you could throw that out. So basically, in my opinion, this is a neutral field here. No disrespect to the Ramley, right? But, disrespect to the Ramley because they might be outnumbered by the Lions fans on Sunday. And so I just don't know if the Rams are a touchdown better than this Lions team. Yeah. You laid it out perfectly, though. All the injuries in the secondary, Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch out again. They haven't put him on IR yet, but it's not looking good for him. This comes down to whether or not Aiden Hutchinson, who had struggled this year and then finally started to make a big impact against the Cowboys, can Aiden Hutchinson really be a game wrecker here and force Matthew Stafford into some uncomfortable throws? And Al-Quadin Muhammad, who was the star of that defense against the Cowboys with 3 sacks, if they can get after Matthew Stafford, that all of a sudden, that internal clock, it goes from 4 seconds to maybe 2.5 seconds, and you're talking about some quick release passes from Matthew Stafford that gives this secondary for the Lions at least a little bit of breathing room where they're not worried about having the top taken off by Puka Nacua. They're not worried about Devontae Adams so much, having to get down the field and burn them. If the pass rush can get home and at least get some pressures, knock Matthew Stafford around. We know that there's not many tougher, more physical teams in the NFL than Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions. They have to make this a bone-crushing, bone-bruising, gritty, physical game, despite the fact that you and I and everybody else in America wants offenses. We want offense. We want points.
Yep.
We want touchdowns.
Yep.
I don't think the Lions can keep up here in a shootout. I think they need to slow down the clock. They need to control tempo. And so that means a heavy dose of Jahmyr Gibbs. That means a heavy dose of David Montgomery. They have to run the ball effectively and give that defense some breathing time. And I think they will. I'm not sold on this Rams defense in terms of their ability to stop the run. I know the numbers say otherwise. I know their scoring defense is right there in the top 5. Chris Shula, one of the hot names to maybe get a head coaching job after this season ends. They're going to really be tested here by this Lions offense because Detroit's got all their guns ready to go. If Amon-Ra St. Brown off a sprained ankle can come back on a short week and do what he did last Thursday against the Cowboys, there's no reason why he can't have success against this secondary. I'm expecting 1 or 2 big plays like we always expect from J-Mo Williams, but really it is this Lions run game that has to be effective. And I think Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles will do that. Give me the Lions plus the 6. I think they keep this within a touchdown. And if I'm wrong, if the Rams are up by 2 scores or 13 points, maybe we get that backdoor cover sneaking through the back door. Give me the Lions plus 6, one way or another, by hook or by crook, Brad. I think they keep this game close, but either way, again, I wouldn't mind a ton of touchdowns and points and offense just like you and everybody else.